Hello, everyone, and welcome to podcast number 4.
Número 4.
Número 4. I'm joined here with James. Hi.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about anime. The
Yes.
anime that we watch.
Yes.
I think that some of you might, one of you might have suggested this on Twitter. So thank you for suggesting that. If I find the tweet, I'll put it in the video right now. And James just yawned.
Sorry.
Anyways, hi. So we're going to be talking about anime. And I think we could start with our introduction to anime. Do you remember what was the first anime you watched?
Probably Pokemon.
Pokemon was the first anime you watched? Really?
I think so. We didn't grow up with cable. We didn't have ways to really watch a lot of them, so it had to be on the standard stations. I think Pokemon was on the standard station, so then I could see it, but I think that was really the only one I had.
Interesting. And what made you continue watching Pokemon? I mean, I know it's Pokemon, it's awesome, but what got you hooked on Pokemon?
Oh, I mean, it was at the time when all the hype was super high, so I was playing the video game and just absorbing all the knowledge I could, playing the card game, watching that. Probably had toys. I'm sure I had toys.
So what was your introduction to Pokemon? Was it the video game or the card game?
Video game.
Video game. Interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah. One of my classmates had Pokemon Red, and he was talking about how cool it was, and I was like, oh, well, I really wanted to get a new video game, so my dad took me to Toys R Us, and I took the money I had saved up, and I was like, well, I want the blue one, because I thought that one looked cooler than Pokemon Red, so I got Red, started out with Squirtle.
Of course.
And then...
So did I.
Yeah, and then, I mean, that's getting off topic from the cartoon, but...
Yeah, but that's how you continue watching Pokemon.
Then I got introduced to the cartoon.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, for me, it actually was Los Caballeros del Zodiaco. Saint Seiya.
Yeah.
Saint Seiya was my first anime. And back then, I didn't even know it was an anime. For me, it was just it was a cartoon.
It was just a cartoon,
It was just a cartoon.
Exactly.
I was in elementary when it came out in Mexico. And I just loved it. For some reason, I just loved it. Pegasus? Is that how you say it in English? Pegasus was my favorite one. It's not anymore. It's Mu. Arius. So, yeah, Arius.
Yeah.
Aries? Yeah, that's my favorite one. Y El Caballero Dorado. I don't know it in English because I watched it in Spanish. So, yeah. Anyways, that was my first introduction to anime, and it was amazing. I remember that for Halloween, my brothers and I dressed up as some of the knights. I'm gonna call it knights. I don't think it's just I don't know how they are called in English.
Okay.
But yeah, they're warriors, I guess. I'm just gonna call them knights because in Spanish it's caballero. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the knights. We dressed up as knights. I was Pegasus, and one of my brothers was the dragon one, and the other one was the swan, cisne.
Okay.
Swan, I think it's what it's called. Forgive me if my translation of Saint Seiya in English is inaccurate. I'm sorry. I'm just literally translated in my brain because I watched it in Spanish, and the newer seasons that came out years ago, I watched them in Japanese but with English subtitles. So it's still, the translation could still be wrong, But yeah, it was one of my favorite animes, and that's kind of what got me started to watching all of the other ones.
Yeah.
I watched, I think after that one, the next one was either Dragon Ball or Sailor Moon. Okay. I can't remember which one came second. But Sailor Moon became my favorite anime. That was I lived for Sailor Moon. I watched all of the seasons, would not miss an episode. Sailor Mars is my favorite. She's my bae. I love her. But yeah, it's just I don't know. Anime was such a huge part of my childhood, and even still, up until today, I still enjoy anime every now and then. Of course, I don't watch it as often because now I play a lot more video games than I used to. But I still like watching anime. We recently watched One Punch Man.
One Punch Man, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Everybody kept suggesting that we should watch it, and we finally sat down and we just binged watched it, and it was amazing.
Yep.
They actually make fun of Sailor Moon.
Yep, they made fun of a lot of shows.
a lot of shows. I just thought like the Sailor Moon thing that they did was hilarious. I loved it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Sailor Moon. They're making fun of Sailor Moon. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
they did a great job with that anime. I love it. What else? Dragon Ball, of course.
Dragon Ball Z, yeah.
Piccolo in English is my favorite one. My favorite character.
So funny story about that. I think that actually might have beat Pokemon. It was just, I only saw it when I went to visit my cousins in Spokane, because they would record it, and then I would get to see a couple episodes here and there that they had recorded on VHS back in the day.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when I'd go traveling with my dad, if I stayed in the hotel or whatever when he was going and doing work, whatever we were traveling for, I would sometimes find it on Cartoon Network and watch it there. And I remember seeing like the same small chunk of the Frieza saga over and over during all these trips.
Yeah, the Frieza saga was amazing.
Well, it just sucked because I only saw like the same handful of episodes. I didn't actually see anything new.
In Spanish, it's Freezer.
Frieza?
Freezer.
Yeah.
Not Frieza.
Oh, okay.
Freezer. Anyways, carry on.
So once we got, I think it was high school when we got cable, and I had Cartoon Network. I remember coming home from school and binge watching Dragon Ball Z because there was like a short marathon. I think it was like 3 episodes back to back.
Yeah.
So I could just watch and catch up. And I remember, I remember that going all the way through Boo Saga. So I watched it from beginning to Boo. And and then I think I found someone who had Dragon Ball and started watching those, like the original Dragon Ball.
Yeah, not Dragon Ball Z.
And didn't get into GT. And then that was kind of it for me for a long time with anime.
Was awful.
Yeah.
Started watching it and then I stopped. I think I watched I was so excited because that was when the new seasons were coming out. So because when I started watching Dragon Ball, the seasons had already came out,
right,
and they were just kind of like on reruns.
Yeah.
So when I started watching Dragon Ball GT, it was like it was about to come out. Like I was already aware of Dragon Ball. I already knew Dragon Ball. I already liked the characters. I already knew the story. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally gonna be able to experience a new season when it comes out. You know, obviously in Latin America. And I was so excited, and then the episodes came out, and I'm like, okay, the first one, didn't like it that much. Second one, okay, give it a try. Third one, I'm like, I'm done. I could not finish the third episode. I don't even remember what the episodes were about. I just did not like it. I just hated GT. So you watched Pokemon first, or you watched Dragon Ball first?
I can't remember exactly. I thought it was Pokemon. I would say Pokemon's the one I actually watched, like, because it was on a schedule and I could see it. Dragon Ball Z was more, I was with my cousins, they had it available, we'd watch a couple episodes, then they wouldn't have anything to show me, or they wouldn't want to watch things they'd already seen. So I would only see it if they got new stuff. Yeah. And that was only in the summers when I stayed at their house. Yeah. So for as far as my history with anime, that was pretty much it till college. I didn't get exposed to it. I wasn't really looking for it. I had friends who were really getting into it. I didn't have the same level of interest. It wasn't until my roommate, Kyle, my senior year of college, who kind of was like, you should check out, he got me into Naruto, Bleach. I think it was Bleach, or he got me into one, and then it led into the other. What else? Those are the two main ones. Trigun.
I haven't seen that one.
Trigun. That was really good. And then Outlaw Star.
Haven't seen that one either.
I think that was a Cartoon Network, but I don't remember when I saw it or how I got into that one. And then I just binge watched the whole series. It's only like 26 episodes.
What's it about?
Outlaw Star? I don't remember.
Okay, never mind. Moving on, changing the subject.
I just remember.
But he watched the entire season.
Oh, there it is. The other one was Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, I saw a movie of it because it was on Cartoon Network. Yep. But I do not remember anything at all.
That would be a fun one to watch again. I like that one.
Okay, well, if you say so, because I don't remember it. Like, I like to watch it to see what it was about. Like, I feel like, I don't know, has it ever happened to you guys, like, you go watch a movie and you just, like space out? And it's like, I remember going to the movies to watch this movie, but I don't remember it.
That sounds like my work day.
kind of like when you fall asleep during a TV episode
Yeah.
or something like that. It's like you remember bits and pieces or like images, but you don't actually remember what the episode was about.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it feels to me. Because I know I was there. I was sitting down with my brothers watching the TV, and I didn't fall asleep, but I have no clue, no recollection whatsoever what the episode was about.
Mm-hmm.
Just blank. Anyways.
Well, no, those were all really good, though. Trigun, I always loved kind of joking around. Sorry, I'm kind of blanking, too. It's a little late. But, if you guys have seen Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, what was the third one I said? Outlaw Star. Those are all really good. If you haven't seen them, you should check them out. We're probably going to end up needing a Crunchyroll subscription. So we can watch all these.
Totally should.
So,
that's something that I wanted to suggest a couple of weeks ago because I wanted to watch an anime, but I cannot remember what it was.
Dragon Ball Z.
What?
What?
But we watched it already.
Oh, you didn't want to rewatch it?
I mean, we can, but that was not the anime that I wanted to show you an anime of Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
It's a really cool anime. I love the intro of that. Maybe, we'll take it out on YouTube. It's probably on YouTube. Okay. But I wanted to show you that, and I know that it's on Crunchyroll because I believe that's where I saw it the first time.
Okay.
But yeah, I wanted to show you that because it was an anime that I thought about and I wanted to share it. And another one, the Tower of Druaga. I think it's called Tower of Druaga. Oh, I have to check this. Hold on, because I do not want to mess this up. Hold on. Yep, it's called the Tower of Druaga. It's amazing. It has a sequel, which is the Sword of Europe or something like that.
The Tower of Druaga.
No, Druaga. Anyway, this is another one that I wanted to show you.
Okay. Because
it's super fun. It reminds me a lot of like video games and stuff like that. I really like it. So I thought I'd share that anime with you. So that's another reason why I wanted to get the subscription to Crunchyroll.
Okay. I do have another one.
Oh, you do?
This one's called Dot Hack. Which I think I've told you about before. It was a video game series that also had a corresponding anime with it, and I love the video game, and I played all 4 parts of it because it came in 4 separate parts you had to buy, and then the actual anime was I think like 26 episodes. It's about a kid who falls into a coma and his consciousness is trapped in the game, and he's got to figure out how to solve the issue of why he's stuck in the game before he dies. And it's very different, very mellow from what I remember. It's not super action oriented. It's all the parts of an MMORPG where you're not fighting and raiding. It's all the other stuff where you're just kind of like, hey, I'm here.
Isn't that the one that resembles Sword Art Online?
Sword Art Online, yeah.
I think that's what it's called. Because
yeah.
we started watching that because you guys actually suggested that we should watch it. I think you guys mentioned it on a stream or something like that. I can't remember where, but you guys suggested it, and we started watching it. And I believe you said that it
This
was
reminds
very
me a lot of Dot Hack, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we may continue watching that one.
Yeah.
Because it seemed interesting. So yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a cool anime to watch. I just really want to watch the Tower of Druaga. I really want you to watch it. It's so good.
Okay, well,
I really like it.
Check it out later.
Yes. Okay. I'm excited now. Yay! I got it, guys. I got it. All I needed was to record it on a podcast. So it's proof, evidence.
He gave a verbal commitment.
Yes, he did.
It'll hold up in court.
Well, those animes actually, I believe I started watching them when I was in college.
Okay.
But when I was younger, when I was still, in elementary and middle school, the other animes that I started watching was Gundam Wing. Amazing. Oh, okay. Oh, it's such a great story.
I wanted to get into that and never did. And we didn't, because I didn't have Cartoon Network.
Yeah, because it wasn't Cartoon Network. Well, I lived in Mexico, but the city where I was living, they had the option to have Cartoon Network in English, like the United States version. So you had the Mexican Cartoon Network, and then you had the English or United States Cartoon Network. So that's how I could watch all of those shows on Toonami. Because Toonami wasn't available still, in Mexico.
Yeah.
Or in the Spanish version of Cartoon Network. So, yeah, that's how I started watching Gundam Wing. And Dragon Ball again, because it was also on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gundam Wing is like, It's just so good. I love the voice actors. I hated Relina. I think it's the princess name or whoever, the leading girl. Drive me nuts. But everything else was good.
I like the idea that Voltron was technically an anime, I guess.
Yes.
So I did see that one a long, long time ago. Oh, I guess I did. I forgot. My dad used to rent animes for me when I was like 4 or 5 on VHS.
Aw, that's adorable, though.
We had, so in Vancouver, where my parents grew up, Washington State, not Canada.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, we had this really mom and pop VHS rental shop that my dad used to use over Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, any of the other ones that we had because he wanted to support this local family running this little grocery store / rental place. And every time we went on Friday, he would let me pick out a video from the cartoon section, which was almost entirely anime in English, dubbed to English. But I do remember watching Voltron. I remember watching The Last Unicorn, which I had forgotten about. There's a bunch of other ones that they may have just been episodes from shows. Like it was a video with a collection of 5 or 6 episodes of different shows so I could get introduced to them, but with no way to see any more than that. That's all I ever saw of them. Couldn't tell you what they were. One of them was a laser tag anime. Where like
laser tag anime.
Yeah, if you got hit, it teleported you out of the arena.
Ha! Interesting.
So I remember that now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, that was, I would have been 3 to 7.
There you go. So that was technically your introduction to anime, not Pokemon.
I just didn't know it as anime. It was just cartoons at that time.
There you go. Same thing happened with me with Sensei. Yeah, I didn't know it was anime.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, it was just a cartoon for me. Oh, we just discovered something here in the podcast. Special moments. Only here on Marielitai podcast. Ay, cochitas.
Yeah, no, that was a weird memory to suddenly have. I hadn't thought about that in a long time.
Yeah, there you go. Anything else that you remember? Any other VHS?
I also used to rent horror movies while I was there.
Skipping. Anyways, my experience. We're not going down that hole. We're not going down that hole.
You asked.
Las Guerreras Mágicas. No clue how it is in English. Magic Warriors?
Yu-Gi-Oh!
No, well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is another one of the animes that I watched while in school. Digimon, of course. Also, by the way, speaking of Pokemon, my first experience with Pokemon was via Super Smash Brothers on Nintendo 64.
Super Smash Brothers on Nintendo 64.
Yep, because you could use Pikachu. And but the first Pokemon I saw was Coughing. Because you could throw the Pokeballs and then a random Pokemon would come out.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be Coughing. And that's, my friends, is why Coughing is my favorite Pokemon.
What's the one, Inuyasha? Didn't you like Inuyasha?
Yeah. And Ranma un medio, Ranma y medio, Ranma and a half in English.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ranma is another one that I watched that I shouldn't have watched. My parents did not want me to watch that TV show, but I still did. I rebelled.
There was one more you had me watch.
Inuyasha.
Where it's the guy who has all the aliens. Oh, not Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist, yes.
He's like the guy in the spaceship that's actually a cat. And there's the guy. He lives in the mountains with his dad, and there's like a demon lady in a sword. Is that Inuyasha? No, Inuyasha's different. It's the one where all the girls fall in love with the guy. And...
Oh, Tenchi Muyo. Yeah. Oh, Tenchi was such a good show. Oh, yes.
That one was cute. We did watch that one. Well, I thought it was good.
The thing with Tenchi is that it's called, there's a Tenchi universe because there's different dimensions or stories that revolve around Tenchi. So there's like the only available on video. Mm-hmm. Then there's a TV series, and then there was another mini series. There were like 3 or 4 different storylines about Tenchi Muyo with, his powers or non-powers, because in some he had powers, in some he was just a regular human being. Mm-hmm. And the girls either were all nice or some of them were evil. It was just like different stories. So that's why I love Tenchi Muyo, because there's like different stories to it. So the characters that you still love,
yeah,
like they have different stories or different backgrounds according to where you're watching it or what you're watching. It's a really good TV show too. That was also available on Cartoon Network in the United States.
We saw it on Netflix.
Yeah, we saw it on Netflix. Really good.
No, that was fun.
But Full Metal Alchemist was another one that we started. James wasn't really in love with it. I really like it, but he didn't really like it. So
didn't strike the right note for me. So yeah.
By the way, if you guys have watched any of the animes that we have mentioned so far, let us know in the comment section down below, and also let us know which was your anime introduction, like your introduction to anime. What was the first anime you saw and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to keep watching? Let us know in the comment section down below because we would love to know. Anyways, another show that I watched, and I don't know if you've seen it before, it's Cardcaptor Sakura or Sakura Cardcaptor. Not sure how to say it in English.
Okay.
So have you seen that one?
No, I don't think I've even heard of it.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's really good. It was one of the ones that I would watch a lot during, what was it, middle school, I think? Yeah, during middle school. And it's about a girl that's supposed to capture cards, as the title of the anime says, because she accidentally sets them free. Okay. So she needs to capture them, and then once she captures them, they kind of love her and become her friends, kind of.
Okay.
So each card is like, you have wind, fire, ice, thunder, I don't know, maybe shadow, I don't remember. There's a ton of cards. But they all represent, like, they're all different elements and things, you know? So, once she's fighting with the other cards, because they start, you know, creating havoc around the city or around town. So when she's using the other cards, you can see them. It's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Meets Pokemon meets Supernatural.
Okay.
So it's a really weird explanation of what it is, but it's such a good TV show, and it has a couple of seasons. And the show didn't end on the TV, but it ended on a movie, I believe. So I had to watch that. I had to rent it. But yeah, it was such a good show. And then they made a spin-off called Tsubasa Chronicles.
Okay.
Which I have mentioned this one to you before. Another reason why we wanted to get the Crunchyroll subscription was so we could watch this one, because the main characters from Sakura Cardcaptor are brought into Tsubasa, but they go into different dimensions where other animes take place in. So it's a really good anime to watch, both of them. So
I knew going into this, when you told me the topic, I was going to have a harder time because I didn't watch as much anime.
Yeah.
And like what I watched usually was in passing, so I might have like homework going or doing something else and it'd just be noise in the background. I was going to have a harder time talking about as many things. And but yeah, I do need to get a little more anime under my belt.
Ooh, so let us know what anime we should watch.
Yep.
We mentioned some that we are going to be watching. But if we didn't mention one and you would like us to check it out, let us know in the comment section down below, because
yes, please.
I love anime, and I'm sure James is excited to start getting more and more deep into anime watching.
Yep.
As he's burping.
I had the hiccups.
Oh, hiccups. Sorry.
It's not a burp.
But yeah, anyways, that is going to be it for today's podcast, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to go ahead and check out James's channels. His channels are in the description down below, also known as the Doobly-Doo.
Yeah, and if you guys have ideas on what we can do in the next episode of the podcast, please let us know in the comments down below. We are reading your comments, and we do see them. You guys have had some good ideas. Obviously, this, I do believe, came from you guys. And there are a couple more in the comments of other podcasts that I've seen and thought were pretty interesting, so we're thinking about doing those as well. So please keep those coming, and you might hear your topic in here.
Yeah! Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!
Bye, guys.